Everything Old is New Again, America's entertainment pop culture talk show.
It may well possess a rudimentary intelligence.
I'm trying to think, but nothing happens.
Felt a great disturbance in the force.
Hello, I'm Mr. Red.
Come on, bark like a dog for me.
Where's the goodies?
Leave the gun. Take the cannoli.
I bet you wouldn't have done anything like this if Mom and Dad were here.
You filthy criminal.
Excuse me while I whip this out.
Go ahead. Make my day.
Here are your hosts, Douglas Viviani and David Cohen.
Well, you want to learn something?
Yes, I do.
All right. Here's a useful lesson for you. Give up. Just quit. Because in this life, you can't win. Yeah, you can try. But in the end, you're just going to lose big time because the world is run by the man.
Who?
The man. Oh, you don't know the man? Oh, well, he's everywhere. And there used to be a way to stick it to the man. It was called rock and roll. But guess what? The man ruined that too with a little thing called MTV! So don't waste your time trying to make anything cool or pure or awesome, because the man's just going to call you a fat, washed-up loser and crush your soul.
Sounds like my weekends. This is Douglas Viviani. Everything Old is New Again with the sophomore himself, David Cohen.
That's right. I've graduated from a freshman and now a sophomore.
How about that? On our second show of the Back to School look by Everything Old is New Again is all we can do. And that was Jack Black from School of Rock trying to spread his brand, if you will, of education to the young in the movie. Well, it's also an Andrew Lloyd Webber. He picked that up, and it's a Broadway
show now.
Have you seen
I don't know.
it?
No, I don't want to see it.
No, we won't go there. The movie I thought was pretty entertaining. I enjoyed it.
It was good.
Yeah, but anyway.
I think they tried to make a TV show out of it too. It didn't.
Yeah,
work.
they did. You're right. All to be ignored because it didn't have Jack Black in it. Quite frankly,
Probably.
I think.
Yep.
This week, since school is open, Everything Old is New Again returns and welcome all the teachers, students, and by the way, parents that are involved with Back to School. This week we talk all things school administration. Interesting, as they apply to the student in our pop culture. The pursuit of love in school. As we get older. How David and I spent some of our formative high school years together at Half Hollow Hills High School East. That's a mouthful.
It is.
And look at the seemingly mundane bus ride to school. And what about those school lunches? I want to take a look at school lunches now and then. Here on Everything Old is New Again. David Cohen, welcome.
I was wondering when that soliloquy was going to end.
Long story short is we went to high school together. So
we did.
People don't realize that, maybe.
Yes, we did.
And that was all those years ago. Did you ever get into trouble with the principal?
I did once.
What'd you do, evil?
The time I got in trouble was I got in trouble for no reason. It wasn't me who was accused of doing whatever, and there were so many times I should have been called in for things I did, but the one time I was called in, I didn't even do it. Literally, did not do it. And I remember that I won't mention him because whatever, but He was like buddy with the principal, another friend of ours, sort of friend, and he took the principal's side. He's like, the principal said, David, I understand you, blah, 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 blah. And the kid, was supposedly our friend, said, David, I'm surprised at you. I'm like, what? It wasn't me. It wasn't me. But they didn't believe me. The principal
What were the
didn't believe me.
ramifications? Anything happened?
There were none.
Yeah.
There were no ramifications, right? Getting called into the principal's office, maybe it resulted in a call to your parents, but... And for you and me, it never got worse than that.
Yeah, we were good kids, although we could have gotten called out for many things. Listen to our last show, a few of those. One of which, though, I remember walking the halls with a buddy of ours, and I believe it was you, I'm not sure, was in a class, a health class, near a window.
Oh, we
went
did that
outside.
Yeah, we would kidnap.
Yes.
Yeah, there was a health class. So the school was like on a ground level. It was a ranch level kind of school, and behind every classroom were windows, and
would open on an angle.
Open on an angle.
Is that right? Or open straight up?
You could leave the classroom through the windows very easily. And in the back of the school was grass. It was an open field. It was actually a really nice setting. So a lot of kids would in the back of the health class, nobody took the health class seriously. You just had to take it. And the kids who got lucky and sat in the back could lean their chairs back up against the windowsill and just relax. And what Doug and I would do, or certain friends of ours ran around together, is if we didn't have a class during health, we would kidnap someone. We'd actually literally grab one by each arm.
Right.
One of the kids that was leaning against the window.
Unbeknownst to them.
They had no idea. Right. And we'd lift them out through the window, and we would kidnap them. 9 out of 10 times the teacher didn't even notice,
Nothing.
so couldn't care less.
Yeah, his book was left
and you
on
were
the
happy,
table.
but you were also, when I was kidnapped, you were happy, right?
Exactly.
Oh, my thanks, guys.
Because they were able to get out of the
Crazy.
class, attendance had already been taken, and they weren't at fault for it, if you will.
Right.
And these
Listen,
two
I was
boobs-
kidnapped. I couldn't do the homework. I wasn't there. I was kidnapped.
We should have been called to the principal's office, and in fact, this is what should have happened had our, what would you say, our next of kin came and come together.
She is a twiddler, a dreamer, a silly heart, and frankly, I don't think she takes a thing in her life or her career as a student seriously.
I don't think I want to know a 6-year-old who isn't a dreamer or a silly heart. And I sure don't want to know one who takes their student career seriously. I know a good kid when I see one. Because they're all good kids. Until dried out, brain-dead skags like you drag them down and convince them they're no good. You so much as scowl at my niece or any other kid in this school and I hear about it, and I'm coming looking for you. Good day to you, madam.
Ah, yeah.
There you go, Uncle Buck himself
Uncle
having his
Buck.
way with his 6-year-old school's
With
principal.
a morality lesson. I love it.
Now, I don't know. I have not experienced what they're representing there. I'm sure that exists throughout America. But in the school district we're in here, I've not experienced any of that. They've been terrific, and I have no complaints.
That's good.
When we grew up, it was much more hands-off, at least our high school. And I don't,
But grade school was, for me, it was much more hands-on. I mean,
It was.
the
Now,
teachers
that was
were
in
allowed
Brooklyn.
to grab you and physically, harm you if they wanted to. I mean, there were ramifications. You couldn't really do it.
Right.
But teachers did it, sure.
see that now.
I was dragged out of a class by my hair.
Really?
Yes. A teacher dragged me by the hair. I was in like 3rd grade or something. And I guess I was talking. I was too chatty or whatever. And she dragged me out of class by my hair.
Oh, that's
into another
insane.
class. She put me into another class.
To what? Sit there by yourself or with
another class that was going on. And I was in a school play later that day. And I was humiliated.
Oh, man.
I
Now,
don't want to go there.
So you remember-
Just stop recording. I can't take this anymore.
all right, fondue guy. I remember, all of these difficulties. You do remember them. They carry with you.
Yeah, there's a reason why teachers shouldn't be striking kids, right? To this day, I remember it.
It was amazing. I think the administration's gotten better, at least by us, but I don't know across America and wherever across America. If you have a different experience, let us know. But I think we've been so on schools and teachers the last 30 years and, getting to Common Core and not whatever. There's been a lot of attention paid to how to deal with problems and how to get them resolved early before they develop into a bully or whatever, a bad student
good,
down
yeah.
the line.
Yep.
So I think we're doing a little better, but there's always a lot of stories. But I don't know what we were doing, walking around, having the ability to walk around the high school. I don't think you could do the stuff we did.
Oh God,
now.
no.
Like we just had a period off, whatever. We were
Yeah,
lunch,
you had no
study
food-
hall,
right,
something.
study hall,
So
that's
we
what
would
it was
just
called.
walk around and hang out
Yep.
and unsupervised throughout.
And we never
school.
did anything bad. We didn't do it. We didn't
No.
destruct property. We didn't abuse any. But we were mischievous.
Good, clean fun.
Good, clean fun.
And we'll be back right after this. Everything else new again. Back to school. Our way.
You're listening to Everything Old is New Again, America's entertainment pop culture talk show with Douglas Viviani and David Cohen.
This is what you do. Start from the minute you walk into biology, Raz. I mean, don't just walk in. You move across the room. And you don't talk to it. You use your face. You use your body. You use everything. That's what I do. I mean, I just send out this vibe, and I have personally found that women do respond. I mean, something happens.
Well, naturally something happens. I mean, you put the vibe out to 30 million chicks, something is going to happen.
That's the idea, Raz. That's the attitude.
It's the attitude of Timon in Fast Times at Ridgemont High. We're here on Everything Old is New Again. Thanks for joining us. Back to school, talking about different adventures and misadventures in school and what everyone seems to have, commonality and looking forward to certain things happening this school year upcoming. This is Timon presenting his words of wisdom as to how to attract a young lady in high school, I guess we'd say. At some point, that becomes some of the mission of high school, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah. It's a big part of high school. Rejection is the big part of high school. At least it was for me.
Right. The goal, unrequited love, quote, and the, what would you say, the failure of attracting the person of your dreams. Is
the old, the constant refrain we would hear, I like you as a friend.
Oh, and then we had the killer of all killers. We're going through all this, years and years and trying to get a date and talking to girls, and we'll talk about all this stuff, having the attitude, the 5-point plan, and we're going to, go to the beach, and it's all of this. It's just like a devotion to all things rationale for women, like to try to get on their level and try to understand girls and try to, actually find someone that'll hold your hand in the hallway. And then, of all things, the culmination of it, the prom, the end of school, it's almost all over. We've got, it's June of the last senior year, and we have picked the theme of the prom. Do you remember what it was?
Oh, my God. No, I do. Say
James
it.
Taylor, you've got a friend. That was the theme.
It was so appropriate. It couldn't have been a better theme.
We had heard, but the thing is, we had heard that probably 30 times until then. That was the culmination of it all. So it was a little, but they were all, the whole committee were made of all girls that either turned you or me down. So I wonder if that was
specifically for that purpose.
They finally sending the message out,
which is a pretty large committee.
Exactly.
But I think that I have to say that in retrospect, even though I had no romantic relationships in high school, but I had a lot of girlfriends, and I think that was the best thing that happened to me in high school. Really do. I had a lot of guy friends, but I had an unusual amount of girlfriends.
I did too. It was a lot of fun. Yeah, it was because the different perspective.
And I think it helped you in your later relationships when you and I actually met women who wanted to go out with us romantically.
Exactly. The fools. Now, let's listen to a little something just to give you a little hint. Damon's got 5 points, 5 ways that'll work for you to attract the young lady. We should have listened to this.
Okay, what's your 5-point plan?
First of all, Rat, you never let on how much you like a girl. 2, you always call the shots. Kiss me, you won't regret it. Now 3, act like wherever you are, that's the place to be. 4, when ordering food, you find out what she wants, then order for the both of you. It's a classy move. Now the lady will have the linguine and white clam sauce, and a Coke with no ice. And 5, comes down to making out. Whenever possible, put on side 1 of Led Zeppelin 4.
There you go, side 1 of Led Zeppelin 4. That's the piece of the pie that I didn't have lined up. For some reason, I wasn't a huge Zeppelin fan back in the day.
No, I wasn't either.
So I didn't.
I wasn't. Unless a girl I knew was into them, and suddenly I was into them.
And one thing I used to do that I see now is so pompous or so stupid. I used to play music in the car on a date and then talk to them about what the song meant. Like, you hear these words, Stairway to Heaven, this is what it's about, and all this. Because I had nothing else to talk about with these people.
Exactly.
It was so grasping at straws, and it was so silent in the car. It's like, all right, let's at least try this. And it didn't work too well. No.
Oh.
Look, who the heck wants to talk about that? But what do girls that are 16, 17, 18 want to talk about with a student, a fellow? Really, at some point, you've got no experience, no life experience, nothing really to talk about. It's so hard. That's what part of, I think, the difficulty is.
Yes.
You've got nothing to share with anybody, really.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Totally. And it's such an awkward age to be at.
Yeah. And so where are you going to go with this?
You talking about that or the show right now?
Well, inevitably, it ends up with heartbreak.
Kevin, I've met someone. I'm sorry.
I knew then that the girl next door was gone. and my life would never be the same again.
Now, was there a girl next door or someone without a name, anyone in the 12 years in school that you felt at a kinship, someone that you felt, if you're older or a different time, different place, it would have worked
there were
out?
several girls, yeah.
And
Absolutely.
so you could relate to what was just said in the one there a little bit.
Definitely.
You know, I think the one is pretty good representing all of this angst.
Yes.
And I had a situation where I had someone that I was always trying to date and all this.
Oh, yeah, I know.
And she was quite popular, let's say, in her own mind. And
also younger?
Yeah, a little younger, and also never said no to a date to anyone but me. No, I'm kidding. But... it was.
That's not true.
No, it was not true.
That's not true.
I made headway, and we had a nice time, and I just really had that experience that this fella has, though.
Yeah.
You no matter what, there's very few experiences, romantic, if you want to call it that, experiences in high school that turn into a long-term situation. Though there was one that I'm aware of, a couple from our high school that is still married to this day, and there's another couple that my wife knows from high school that is still married to this day.
Wow,
so it does happen,
Yeah.
but our school is made up in our class of 635 students.
So the odds were
635 to 1.
Yeah, there could have been others that we don't know about that ended up together. True,
True.
We don't know.
We don't know everybody and all that.
It's a big school.
Pretty rare, though.
But we had so many opportunities and were shot down so many times. That's really what it comes down to.
I think the thing is we never gave up hope.
Now, my son's high school, just so you know, was, listen to this ratio. It was, what was that old song? Not the Beach Boys, but Jan and Dean, I think. 2 girls for every boy. 2 girls for every boy in the school. Could you imagine
how did he
how
make
much
out? He had
more
no problem.
how much more rejection we would have faced under the
double the rejection, 2 double, 2 no's, 2 no's, 2 no's, and 1. I mean, like double mint. That would have been trouble. Did your son have a problem with it, getting a prom date? I presume not.
Thankfully, he did not follow in his father's footsteps there. He really didn't have trouble, having girlfriends.
Well, now, is being the jovial person, the fun, funny guy in high school a way to go with respect to attracting the opposite sex who want to at least, date you in high school?
Well, it's all we had. I mean, we didn't have a choice.
That's true.
We were funny. That's it. That's all I got. You either like this or you don't.
Exactly.
Can't give you any more.
But did it work? Obviously, I think, because you hear these women on the dating sites, on the, on television all the time. All I want is a guy that can make me laugh. I just want a fun guy. And what happens?
Right.
I don't think that's true. I think that's a farce.
There was a comedian that had a great line. I think we might have seen this guy at the comedy club we used to go to in high school. And he's talking to some girl that he likes, and she would say, I want somebody funny, somebody like I can really talk to, like someone who's a real friend. That's the kind of guy I'm looking for. In other words, someone like you, but not you. You know what I mean?
Hate to say it, resonates way too
Someone
strong.
Like you, but not you.
Yeah. All right, we'll be back. There's always some hope. Let's put it that way. Everything old is new again.
All our young lives, we search for someone to love. Someone who makes us complete. We choose partners and change partners. We dance to a song of heartbreak and hope. All the while wondering if somewhere, somehow, there's someone perfect who might be searching for us.
Now, back to America's entertainment pop culture talk show. Everything old is new again, with Douglas Viviani and David Cohen.
I'm not cool enough. People in bands are cool. I'm not cool.
Dude, you are cool. The way you play. Why do you say you're not cool?
Nobody ever talks to me.
Well, those days are over, buddy. Because you could be the ugliest sad sack on the planet, but if you're in a rockin' band, you're the cat's pajamas, man. You're the bee's knees. So you're going to be the most popular guy in school, trust me.
Everything old is new again. Douglas Viviani with David Cohen talking about returning back to school and being in a band. David Cohen, did you have that thought in mind? We can't talk about our high school experience without talking about the news.
The band we were in, yes. NEWZ, because, it was punk rock, man. You couldn't conform. You had to put the Z in instead of the S.
Now, did you have that Jack Black thought in your mind?
No, to me, it was not a way to get girls.
Exactly.
I did it because I loved to do it.
And what did you love?
Just the creativity, the camaraderie, the performing live. There was something else to do. Right. You know what I mean?
Right.
After school and whatever.
But I never knew you played an instrument before all of a sudden one opportunity came along in school. They had these comp nights, and we were going to do. We all came up with this idea. I was going to be one of the Blues Brothers. Another fellow was going to be a Blues Brother, and they said we would need a band. And all of a sudden, it was one way or the other, something developed where you stepped forward and said, "I think we're playing with a couple of fellas or whatever." There was a band situation going on.
Yeah, we said we could play. Yeah. Yeah, I think I had some semblance of a band. It was just forming, or
something was happening there. Yeah. And so all of a sudden, that developed into, we did Soul Man. It was very successful. It went off very well.
Yeah, we had you guys did the Blues Brothers great,
right?
Impersonating them great and singing and all that. But we also had a live band behind you, so that was really cool.
Right. So from there, we then developed into. Was that the genesis of the
No,
Blues?
I asked you to be in the band and I asked you to fire the guy you were replacing. That's how it came to be.
Like Ringo Starr having to go to Pete Best and tell Pete Best you're out.
In a parallel universe, yes. So
taking the talent aside.
Yeah, I said, Doug, you want to be in the band? Okay, you got to fire, what's his name? You got to fire the guy you're replacing.
Before or after the Blues Brothers? Am I remembering this wrong?
I don't remember. I think it was after.
I think it was after the Blues Brothers.
It was after the Blues Brothers.
Yeah. So
you went and you fired him.
Middle school. Called the kid out. He was in
out
the
of class. You called him out of class.
So-and-so, we knocked on the door. So-and-so, we have a message for so-and-so. They have to come out. The teacher let the kid out.
Because another student wanted to talk to him.
I get him in the hallway and I tell him, look, this is it. You're out. You're not in the band anymore. You started to really freak out. Whatever. Blah, blah, blah. All right. See, never talk to that poor guy ever again.
That was such a loser thing for me to do. Not only get rid of him because he was a friend of mine, but have you do it?
Well,
and the fact that you did it, I couldn't believe you agreed to it.
Well, I wanted into the band. I had been taking piano. I had very little talent. I had been taking piano lessons for a long time. Finally, I thought an opportunity. At least I knew all these chords. I could actually put something to use a little bit. So we started the band, and off we went.
Yes,
and we did shows at different local junior high schools. We did a Sweet 16 party. If you remember that one.
Yes, outside, right? Yeah.
We wore black shirts, white pants with a hat that was a newsman type of a hat, and in it had in the lapel of it, we had the word news, the four of us. We had a bass player, yourself, and a guitarist, and
we wore black and white because that's the color of a newspaper.
Right, and it
was all a theme. It was a theme.
And at the beginning of our show, the four of us sit in a chair. We would be reading a newspaper. The spotlights would be on us. We'd have our sound man, quotes, announce before the show. I would guess it would be like 7 o'clock. It's like 7 o'clock. Here now, the news.
And we put our newspapers down. Push the chairs out. How did we get the chairs off the stage? It was so awkward.
We did.
And then we just picked up our instruments. The transition was bad. The concept was good.
We didn't know how to get from those chairs to the instruments and without dropping things and tuning up, and it just. But meanwhile, during those shows, I've got a couple clips here I've never played before, and I think it's pretty interesting. I think you've never heard these. See if you can listen in here after a song has been performed, the reaction that we get.
We will. Okay. Here's an oldie by the Beatles. I don't know if you know it or not. We don't really care. And it's called I Want to Hold Your Hand.
You really kind of couldn't hear. In the beginning, the kids were asking this, saying, play Freebird, play Freebird, play Freebird.
We didn't know Freebird. Did we?
Well, we did. We played it, yes.
Oh, we did?
Yes,
okay.
I have that.
I don't remember.
But, and we would go, we'll get to it. It was like we did not want to play it.
No,
we didn't want to play
hated
it.
the song. We only played it because people wanted to hear it.
Right. It was I don't know, it just wasn't new wave. It wasn't our thing, but it was so popular. We heard it all the time. Would you hear you? Yeah, I don't care. It doesn't matter. We're going to play a Beatles song whether you like it or not. I heard of it and I don't care. We'll play. You didn't remember that? Did you hear that? Listen to
play it again. No.
It's an oldie by the Beatles. I don't know if you know it or not. We don't really care. And it's called
You don't know them.
I don't know if you know it or not. You said, I don't know if you know it or not. We really don't even care.
It was the punk attitude, man.
It's like,
We don't care what you like. We're playing what we want to play.
You were really, I mean, that was a piece of work. Then, I don't know if there's something, well, listen to this. We had so many songs, and at some point the concert went a little bit long. And so you turn to the audience and say this. Let's see if you can hear this.
Hey, is there another one you'd like to hear again? Something you played already. My Sharona?
Like, if you can hear that, first of all, there's two things. Number one, you're asking if they would like to hear a song again that we've already played, and the reaction clearly is no. And the second part is then they're saying, what would you like to hear? When they're screaming out Freebird, that you heard, right? I heard. Many times, and that's a different concert, by the way. Many times they're screaming Freebird, and you turn around and you say, okay, My Sharona.
Probably because I think I remember one girl might have said My Sharona, and I zoomed in on her.
My Sharona?
See, some people said yes.
All right, so...
Oof, that was brutal.
Which is a song that I sang, which was really, talk about brutal. It was a little more brutal than Freebird.
The knack. Get the knack.
I mean, that was...
wow, that brings back some very sad memories.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Yeah, and then we played so hard. I remember there were times you played the bass with your finger, and you would get, like, calluses, or you'd get, times where you'd have the skin would be broken off, whatever, you had blisters. And you would use this stuff, what would you put on? It's called fake skin or something.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that?
Right.
And so at one point that wasn't working, so listen to this now.
Okay, we're going to take a very small break now. We'll be back in about... Hey, wait I got a blister on my finger and broke all the way through. There's blood pouring out. I said, it's a wimp. All the top players are wimp. What can I say? Give us 10 minutes and we'll be back with...
They hated us in some ways, but they wouldn't want us to take a break.
Right.
So you're telling them how much you have a blister and it's
broke
bleeding.
Or something and it's bleeding?
Yeah, and then I say the guitar player's a wimp. So it all was going downhill there at this point.
That's so bad.
But a dichotomy. I guess they were still waiting for Freebird at that point.
They just wanted to hear Freebird. That's all they wanted to hear.
No breaks. We got to play Freebird.
And if we just kept playing Freebird for 45 minutes, they would have been fine with that.
Exactly. Although we did have the Twilight Zone. That was a nice original David wrote. We got a little piece of that. Just to show you how we were. If we were good, bad, or indifferent. Sounds terrible.
Is that the one we actually recorded in the studio? So
Yes.
that was supposed to be the demo.
Is
it just deteriorate over years, or was it always that bad quality?
I don't think it was always that bad. It's actually some live versions that are better. But it's very muddled. It was better,
muddled.
but it just gives you a little feel for it.
Wow,
that was the demo.
We did a demo. We had original songs, and we went into a studio one day and we put 2 tracks down. Right.
And the other one was "She Was a Jap," which is a Jewish American princess. I believe it stood for back in the day.
So politically correct. Yes. And we paid $100 for that. So I remember it was $100 for. I forget how much time we had.
Maybe an hour.
Yeah.
I'm going to say for 2 songs. It was very cool. It was
cool.
Stuff. Who did that in high school? I mean, we were, this is ahead of our time. You can't record like you can now. That you had to go to a studio.
Yes.
We had to find a studio in Long Island and all that.
We had to find one. We had
Then we were written up in the Good Times magazine, a magazine that was around, and we've said this before, and I think it said something like, do you remember what it said?
Yeah, it said their live show is a gas.
Yeah.
Because a friend of ours wrote it.
Right. Great originals. You'll enjoy their concert. They reviewed every band on Long Island. We got ourselves in there. I don't know how that happened.
Yeah.
And they said, and the live show's a gas. With you complaining about the blisters and us ignoring the request for Freebird.
Repeating songs.
Repeating songs. All right, here's a little of that original. We'll be back right after this. Everything all is new again.
I really thought she'd be the special kind, the one that's right for me. She blew my mind. If I had only seen the kind of queen she was. I'll be standing
someone.
This is Everything Old is New Again, America's entertainment pop culture talk show with Douglas Viviani and David Cohen.
Window down and drove.
It's hard to imagine being 12 years old and going without certain things, like 3 months off in the summertime, or a good bicycle to cruise the neighborhood on. More than anything, though, it's hard to imagine being 12 years old and not having a best friend like...
There you go, like David Cohen. How about that? On Everything Old is New Again. So all of us did this, right? We all traveled the bus.
Yes.
I loathe the bus. There has to be a more dignified mode of transportation.
I mean, did you did you sing those songs? Do you remember singing? There was songs
I remember
that we would
singing.
sing. We'd be bouncing in the back of the bus, and there would be songs that you would sing. They never did this anymore.
My bus was not as raucous as that.
Oh
no.
man, we'd sing a song. I remember one of the words was just like the worms crawl in, the worms crawl out, they eat your guts like sauerkraut. You would sing these songs as the bus would. You never did that.
No, our bus was pretty quiet. We were. I think we were in the quiet car.
And there were no seatbelts.
No seatbelts whatsoever.
These kids, I see my kids get on the bus now, and well, first of all, the bus stop was totally different. There's no
bus
parents
stop.
at the bus stop.
No parents.
You would go to this corner, and there was the bus stop at someone's house somewhere along the line.
Yeah.
In my day, elementary school, we carried briefcases to school.
Sure, book bags. Yeah.
No backpacks.
No backpack.
You were like a
like an
businessman.
attaché case.
Yes. Now you would arrive at the school bus stop, and you would put your, an attaché, and you would put it in line, and that was the line that you were allowed to leave the line.
Oh, you
because your
reserved
bag
it.
was there.
And think about it, that was pretty civilized, right?
Yes, but you had frontsies back, no backsies. Like you weren't allowed anybody to cut. Like you would,
Right.
the backsies would be you'd say to somebody, "Can I have backsies?" And if the rule didn't exist, you were allowed then to let your buddy go put his backpack ahead of all the rest of them, but right behind yours.
Ah.
But if you got there and said no backsies, then you would say, "All right, you can have frontsies," and the person. But if you were smart when you arrived, you'd say, "No frontsies, no backsies," and once that was said, that was it.
The world would be a much better place if adults followed that also.
Exactly.
It's just like I live in the city in Manhattan, and if people just lined up for the bus that way, it would be so nice.
Wouldn't it be nice? And actually listen to all those rules and obeyed the rules. So that was the bus, and then we would sing the songs as we would go to school. And there would be a lot of chaos. Flipping baseball cards over the seat. You don't remember this?
I must have just been in a different world. There was none of that going on. Everybody just sat there. We just sat there. There was talking. You would talk. But there was never any shenanigans or anything.
Oh, even elementary school? Nothing. Well, you were in Brooklyn.
No,
maybe
elementary
that's
school
why.
I was in Brooklyn. We used to walk.
So maybe that's why.
I missed part of that. Yeah, by middle school, I think we were a little more calm.
Right, the songs were a little, passé at that point.
Plus, it was a long bus ride. When I moved out there, I was like going to some other school district. It would take like 40 minutes on the bus. So kids were just tired.
That's a disaster.
Maybe that's why. I don't know.
Yeah. How about gym class? Oh,
Let's see 4 captains. The rest of you boys stand up on the line.
But just in case there was a little fun left in basketball,
Okay, let's pick teams.
we would now be turned loose on each other,
I got Jenkins. I got Schneider.
picking teams. It had to be one of the most grueling rituals of childhood.
All right, so we all went through that, picking the teams. I didn't care about picking the teams. What I hated was it had to be skins versus shirts, playing basketball or whatever. Who wanted to play either as a skin or against a skin where you got to hand check a kid that's sweating on you? And
That was gross.
this
It was
is
just
really
gross.
disgusting.
Yeah.
What was that? They still do skins versus shirts. They
I don't
can't
know.
do that anymore.
I doubt it.
Oh, what a disaster.
No, when I watch basketball games now, like pickup games, no. You just know who's on your team.
It's kids versus
You look up and you look around. That guy's on my team. That guy's on my team.
Right. You had a bunch of fifth graders running around half nude playing. That game on the scooter. Remember that it would have wheels on it with the big giant ball. Do you remember this? Spider ball or something.
We saw that in a movie or in a commercial just the other night. It's really weird. You're bringing that up because Michelle, my wife, remembered it, and I have no recollection of that.
You had to block it out because definitely was played in junior high school. Definitely.
You were on a
scooter.
You were sitting.
It had 4 wheels and it was
Right.
a plate, and you could hold on to it, and you would then kick this ball almost as big as this room. I mean, it's a big ball, let's say 3 by 3 foot ball around, and it was soccer, and everyone had to be on this scooter.
No.
Scooter ball, it was called, I think.
Don't remember it.
Or spider ball, one or the other. Because you're looking.
I
at
remember
spider.
kill the guy with the ball.
Okay, well,
Salugi, whatever we called it.
Yeah, that was different. That was on our own. And,
Yeah.
of course, dodgeball's been talked about for a million years. Everybody
Yeah,
talked about dodgeball.
cliche,
But,
yeah.
but certainly we did that.
A
But
cliche that's actually true.
yes.
Yeah.
Now, the
Horrifying.
thing is, taking a shower, we've seen this in a couple of shows back, or sections back, we talked about, you'd play gym for some godforsaken reason for 45 minutes, and they want you to sweat up a storm, and then in like 10 minutes, maybe even less time than that, go in and take a shower with all these kids.
It was a communal shower.
Yeah, nude, and then
Right.
coming out and getting changed
Oh God, I hated
at
that.
like
I hated
12
it.
years old. What is this?
Yeah.
Do they still do that?
I hope not.
Did Ben do that? Did they have that in school?
No
way,
no,
right?
No.
I mean, that was insane. We're going to go out and play baseball and run around for a half hour like lunatic for one small half hour out of the whole day. And then for 15 more minutes into class, we're going to shower.
Right.
And we'll leave you all alone in that shower. guys.
I think once they removed all the hidden cameras, they stopped. They broke down the whole process.
It was what a disaster.
That's so weird.
Oh God, that was. I mean, they were very strange. I'm glad that's out of the way. How about this? Did you ever do this? I remember lunch was so awkward sometimes.
Would you like to talk about a possible lunch trade?
A lunch trade. I couldn't
Trading,
really-
yeah.
Did you do that? You
Occasionally, yeah.
My
Yeah.
mother would pack for me inevitably every lunch a delicious apple, which is the only apple on the planet that I don't like. And is not delicious.
It's not.
It's very dry.
Yeah,
apple.
sour. It's not good.
So I'd be in a position of that with these peanut butter. Before peanut butter was a problem. Peanut butter cookies I used to like, filled with the outside of it was like a graham cracker or a cracker kind of a thing, and that was fine. But that's what she got for me. She got the one that was cheese flavored, which I didn't like at the time, with in other words, cheese inside of this instead of peanut butter.
Yeah.
So I've got this cheese cracker that's kind of doesn't kids at
It's not sweet
10
enough.
aren't into
Yeah.
cheese really, and a delicious apple, and I'm in the spot of having to trade that up to get something.
So you never traded.
I got once I got a pickle maybe. I mean, it was I had a tough time trading, but I remember you would be in school lunch and you would eat those cookies, those Linden's,
the Linden's
chocolate chips.
Oh, they were so good. They still sell them.
They do,
but they're a lot smaller, of course.
Right,
like everything,
of course. What do they have now versus back in the day?
No, they still have that.
Oh, they do.
The Linden's.
All right,
I mean, I don't know what else they have, but they still sell it.
I remember that back in the day, you'd have the sloppy Joe.
Yeah,
spaghetti and meatballs.
But you did
lunch.
so. Well, let's tell the listeners what you've done here, because this is really cool. So you've gone online and pulled down these actual school lunch menus from the 70s. I take it.
Yes,
thereabouts.
1974.
And some of them are really funny
compared to what we have now.
They're not as bad as we remember them, right? I mean, they tasted bad. Yeah,
no,
I'll
but
always
they
remember
tried.
that. But they tried to get you some nutrition. It wasn't a total lack of nutrition.
Right. Here's one: pizza with buttered mixed vegetables, celery and carrot sticks, milk, and an orange cake with frosting. I can guarantee you 100%. I ate the pizza, didn't eat the buttered mixed vegetables, didn't eat the celery and carrot, drank the milk, and had the orange cake.
I agree. Yeah, if the orange cake was okay.
If the orange cake was probably filled, it was probably
Here's
like 7
an
years old.
interesting. On Monday, a hot dog sandwich. Was on, I don't know what a hot dog sandwich is. Because on Tuesday, a hamburger sandwich was on the menu. I guess they didn't really need the word sandwich in either case,
I'm
right?
looking at a menu here. They have a hamburger is on this. By the way, what's wrong with a cheeseburger? I remember just hamburgers, no cheese.
They were just right.
There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hamburgers served in a 20-day period on the menu I'm looking at. 6 times.
I mean, okay, but look, a hamburger,
sticks.
it's not great, but it's not horrible.
No.
Right? You're not going to die from eating it. I mean, listen to this. All right, here's one I found that was funny. That just glancing at this stuff. Oh, darn, where did it go? Wait, stay with me. Hold on. It said Italian spaghetti. Here it is.
Italian spaghetti.
Tuesday, Italian spaghetti, whatever that is. Tossed green salad, fruit gelatin, half a peanut butter sandwich, and milk. That's not terrible.
That's not bad. Look at the rules here, though. There are brand new rules.
So now we flash forward to today,
yeah.
right?
For lunch, we're continuing First Things First campaign with the importance of breakfast, blah, blah. They're serving breakfast. But now they must choose a fruit serving as part of their complete breakfast.
That's fair.
It's breakfast, all right. And they must complete and have a fat-free or a low-fat milk. Smart Snacks is only certain snacks that are permitted. I think you have the list of snacks there that are permitted. No snack bars, no vending machines. You're not allowed to have anything, but it's got to be whole grain, low sodium, low fat, 100% fruit, no added sweeteners. I mean, they've got 0-calorie drinks and 0-calorie snacks permitted. There's a lot of rules now. I can't send my kid in. I would want to, but I'm not allowed to send him in with chocolate.
Really? No chocolate?
Peanut butter. No chocolate at all.
Interesting.
And the kid gets into trouble. You got me into trouble, Dad. Why? You sent me in with a piece of chocolate.
Wow, so there's food police there, apparently.
There are food police. All right, well, what can I tell you? We'll be back next week, continue talking.
How are ya?
Oh, yeah, I'm good. There he is, talking all things, everything old is new again, back to school. We'll be back next week. Continue.
This is my final exam. Now y'all know who I am. I might not be that perfect son, but y'all been